Hello, my name is Ella Robinson, and this is my microbiome project on the gut microbiome and Alzheimer's disease. What is Alzheimer's? Alzheimer's disease is a progressive and fatal brain disorder that gradually destroys memory, thinking skills, and the ability to carry out everyday tasks. Signs and symptoms include memory problems, like difficulty remembering recently learned information or events, forgetting important dates or appointments, misplacing objects frequently, and repeating questions or stories. The epidemiology of Alzheimer's. Alzheimer's disease most commonly affects individuals aged 65 and older, but a small percentage experience early onset Alzheimer's, which can begin in their 30s or 40s. It is unknown how people get Alzheimer's, but factors like genetics, age, and brain changes can affect who gets it. With some research studies, we can see if what people eat in the gut microbiome are linked to Alzheimer's disease. So, the gut microbiome is a diverse microbiota, and it diversifies with age until it is stable as an adult microbiome. Some patients with AD, also known as Alzheimer's disease, have been shown to have a less diverse microbiome. Reduced abundance of beneficial bacteria like Bifidobacterium and Lactobacillus are some ways that you can see if someone does have Alzheimer's. The population of microbiota in the gut. This includes bacteria, archaea like methane to help balance gases in the gut, fungi, which is usually low levels, viruses, these are mostly the bacteriophages, and protozoa. Most of them live harmlessly, but others can cause disease. And then right here to the right, I have my picture, and this also just shows some of the more common microbiota in the gut, some opportunistic ones, and then some pathogenic ones. And then I have a fun fact here as well that there's actually more microbes in the gut than there are stars in the galaxy. So, lifestyle changes. Some basic practices to help improve overall gut microbiome has a lot to do with the food we eat. Um, some dietary changes that can be made is going on the Mediterranean diet. This is a diet that's rich in fruits, vegetables, and whole grains. Fecal transplants is also something that can help. This is when we take the fecal matter of someone with a healthy gut microbiome to a patient with Alzheimer's disease. Probiotic and prebiotic therapies is administering probiotics, which is live beneficial bacteria, or prebiotics, which is non digestible food components that nourish beneficial bacteria to help restore gut microbial balance. And so to the right, I just have a picture, this kind of explains a little bit more of the Mediterranean diet. And I did have a picture here talking about the fecal transplant process, but I guess it is removed. So, a study on the gut microbiome and Alzheimer's. In a study with 64 people, some with Alzheimer's disease and some healthy, researchers looked at gut bacteria and certain gut chemicals. They tested also thinking and memory skills using an MOCA test. So, some of the key findings people with Alzheimer's disease had an imbalance in gut bacteria compared to healthy individuals. And then certain bacteria were linked to better thinking skills like language and attention. And then some SCFAs, this is going to be our short chain fatty acids, were linked to worse thinking, while others were linked to better focus. So, specific bacteria and SCFAs could help predict thinking problems in Alzheimer's patients using a test called an ROC. So, in conclusion, gut bacteria and SCFAs are linked to memory and thinking abilities in Alzheimer's disease. They could be useful for early detection and treatment strategies. So, the future of research. I think a good thing to do next time would probably be to expand the population group that they are studying, test if prebiotics or probiotics work better than dietary changes. Some of the impact could also be, once we find out if someone has early Alzheimer's, it could determine if it could be reversible. And knowing how to prevent Alzheimer's can help to lower the amount of patients with Alzheimer's disease. So, in summary, there's not a foolproof answer to say that a healthy gut microbiome can affect if someone does or does not get Alzheimer's disease. However, there is a correlation between the two, and further research on the topic can be beneficial for others in the future. Here are my references. Thank you so much for listening.